guys, welcome to Decidedly Neapolitan. I thought I would just take a few minutes to kind of go over my power generation system here. I've had a couple questions on it, and people sort of just kind of wondering about it and how it works, and I haven't really done any sort of in-depth look at the system, so I thought I would go ahead and do that. Now, this is by no means the only power generation system that you can do in BRAN's mod pack. There's Buildcraft, and you can generate power with Buildcraft. Buildcraft has a number of different engines that you can use, and the kinesis pipes will transfer power. The kinesis pipes actually have quite a bit of flexibility associated with them, so that's an option. Railcraft has a steam boiler that you could generate power with. So there's a number of different ways of doing it. This is just the method that I chose, and I think I like it because, one, it's very, very simple. I mean, look how simple it is. It's very clean. The design on it, I mean, you can't get much more clean than this design. I mean, it's just, it takes up this amount of space, and there's just not a bunch of stuff going all over the place. With the Buildcraft, it's not quite so clean because you got a lot of pipes that you have to kind of go in all different directions. And this has a lot of pipes too, but these fluid ducts are real nice and compact, and I just like the system. It's nice and clean. It's straightforward. It's very simple to implement. It does take some resources, but nothing that's going to be that definitely not going to break the bank by any means. So this is just the method that I chose, and I really like it. Now, people are a little confused when I said that that I was converting RF into EU. I really wasn't. I'm really not converting RF into EU. What I really kind of meant to say was that I am using the thermal system to generate EU. There's no, as far as I know, I can't find anything at this point. There is no sort of direct conversion from RF to EU. In other words, there isn't some little gizmo that I can put here to convert from RF to EU. Now, I don't know that that's 100% true, but I have not been able to find it. If I do find it, then obviously that'll be something to look at. But so far, I haven't come across anything. Really, what I mean by when I say my RF system is generating EU, what I mean is that I'm using a common source of fuel for both systems, and that common source of fuel is lava that's being generated by the magma crucible here. Now, the RFs, this is RF. All of this is RF, and as you can see, we're producing about 38,000 RF with these 7 dynamos here. So not too bad at all. Now, that's a fairly substantial amount of RF that we're generating there. So it's enough to keep this thing fully powered while it's working on the netherrack, converting the netherrack to lava. Now, this right here, this magma crucible is kind of the key to the whole system. Basically, with the lava that I generate here, I can run my magmatic dynamos, and these are augmented as well. I've got the excitation field limiter, which, if you remember, sets it to an output of 0, which means that if there's no load on the system, if no machines are running, these guys will not lose power. That's really, see, they're all at 40,000, and they'll stay at 40,000 until we turn on a machine, until we turn on the magma crucible in this case, and it starts to go. So having this augmentation here is, I think, a crucial augmentation because you will not lose power. And then these just basically give you more bang for your buck as far as the fuel efficiency, and we're running at 35% right now. But the field limiter is really the one that you should get, because that will basically allow you to not lose power. Otherwise, if you didn't have that in here, these things would continually to generate the 60 RF per tick, and would eventually run out of power. But see, the way it is now, see, they're just sitting there. I've got 4,000 buckets of lava in there. I'm at full charge, so yeah, I'm doing good on this. So that's definitely an augmentation to get. So the lava generation is coming out of this guy here. Well, you know, we've got this thing crammed full of, not crammed full, but we've got a good supply of netherrack in there. And the reason I'm using netherrack is because it basically gives you the most lava for the least power usage. You can put other things in here though, like cobblestone, for example. But cobblestone requires more power, and the netherrack is cheap and it's easy to get, and you know, it just works. And it uses up less energy for the amount of lava that you get than the other items that you can do. However, you could cobblestone is free basically with the igneous extruder. Once you fill that igneous extruder up with lava and water, you'll have infinite cobblestone. So you could actually, you know, throw an igneous extruder up here, and it doesn't take power. It'll generate cobblestone for free, basically. It will never run out of water and never run out of lava if you're just making cobblestone. It will never run out of those two. So you could generate cobblestone for forever and run it through this system. Now you probably have to add a few more dynamos to the system, but that way you wouldn't even have to mine the netherrack. It's a little bit more expensive, but you know, it's absolutely free, and you would never have to refill this with netherrack again. And I may eventually go to that. I don't know. We'll see. But these guys here, basically, this lava branch here is basically to power these guys. And this power is the sole purpose of this bank of dynamos here is just to power the magma crucible. That's it. That's all it's really designed to do. I'm not using this for anything else. There isn't power being drained off. I'm just making sure that this thing stays full energy-wise all the time. So that's what this bank is doing here. The only thing that this bank is doing is just powering the magma crucible, and it's doing it via this this flux duct here, hardened flux duct. And these are all hardened systems. I keep doing that for some reason instead of jumping. These are all hardened systems, which just a little bit more efficient. You know, obviously it's only the second tier. You can go all the way up to the Enderium level, but that's pretty expensive, and it requires a bunch of molten ender pearls and stuff, and you know, that's sort of in-game stuff. And honestly, I don't think I really need it. I think that the hardened level is going to work just fine. At least it has so far. So we get this branch of fluid duct basically fills these guys up full of lava. But we get a little bit extra, and that little bit extra then goes over here and powers these four geothermal generators. Now here's where the commonality between the two systems comes together, and that is the lava. Geothermal generator will run off of lava, and since we can generate lava for both RF and EU, it's the common denominator between the two systems. So it's sort of the currency between RF and EU, if you will. And that's kind of what I meant when I was saying that we have my RF system is now generating EU. The magma crucible is an RF system. See, it uses redstone flux. So, you know, technically speaking, we've got an RF system that's generating EU, but not exactly, really, not in that sense. In other words, we're not doing conversion from RF to EU. What we're doing, though, is we're using the common currency between the two power systems, and that is lava. And with the geothermal generator, we can produce EU. And as you can see, this produces 24,000 EU. And I've got 4 of these hooked up here. And each one of these is producing 24,000 EU. And the bat box holds 40,000 EU. The EU is electrical units. So we're generating a pretty decent amount of power here with these 4 geothermals. Now, why the geothermal? Geothermal for this for this type of application, in other words, for the way I've got it set up here, geothermal generators are like our augmented magmatic dynamos. The geothermal generator will only output power when there's a load on the system. In other words, when there's a machine running, you know, it's only going to output, and it only outputs enough energy to meet the need. Now, if you have just a standard coal-based generator going on this, you know, like what we started out with, it's going to output all that energy while the coal is in there and while it's burning, and you can't stop it. It's just going to generate this. The geothermal generator, on the other hand, is only going to output energy when there's a load on the system. So this 23,992 and this 24 that we've got over here, that's going to stay there until something uses it, and it's only going to output what it needs. So this guy uses, oh, I forget however much this guy uses, but does it tell us? No. Overclocker upgrade, though. You know, let's say this guy uses, you know, 1,000 EU. Well, this thing is only going to output 1,000 EU. It won't output the 23,000, you know, like the other one might do. This one's only going to output what is needed. So we're not losing any power is the long way of what I'm trying to say. That's why the geothermal generators is a really good choice for this type of system. Now, of course, you can augment this with solar. Solar power works good, but solar power only works during the day, whereas this is going to work all the time. So, yeah, so that's kind of the rationale and the thinking behind this system, my thinking behind this system. This geothermal generator is probably the best choice in this sort of situation here, because it's a lossless system. In other words, we're not going to lose power when the system isn't being run. The same over here, we're not losing any power. So we're about as efficient as we can possibly be at the hardened level, which is what we're at right now. And since we're running netherrack, we're utilizing probably the best fuel source that we can possibly get, even though maybe cobblestone would be more economically efficient, you know, because we still have to mine the netherrack, although it's, you know, you just get your hammer and you've got netherrack for days, really. The nice thing about the system, the way it's set up now, is I don't use that much netherrack, because these guys don't lose their power. So the amount of netherrack that I actually use isn't a whole lot. You know, I mean, I can, I keep wanting to look in there. I can basically power the system. Well, I take that back. I'm thinking of the system upstairs. I'm thinking of this system here. See, I've been able to power this system basically without running my lava generator now for... I haven't turned on the lava generator in, I don't know, it's been a little while. And see, I'm finally getting to the point now where I'm running down on some of these guys here, so I'm probably going to have to do it. But I've been pulverizing stuff and cooking stuff now for quite a while. But see, these guys are still full, even though some of the magmatic dynamos are running low here. See, like this guy's running low. We're only about half power. All of my stuff is still powered up fully. So yeah, it's a great system. It just really works really well. So anyways, that's kind of the rationale behind the system and kind of how it works in a nutshell. It's really, really simple. And believe me, I choose simple over non-simple if I can get away with it. And this is really simple. It's a very simple, I dare say it's an elegant solution to the problem. You know, I think it's an elegant solution. Look how clean this is. Look how nice this looks. I mean, you know, you've got this common currency of lava that will generate a boatload of EU, a boatload of RF, and it's very simple, very straightforward, and not that, you know, not bad on the resources. I mean, these guys are not all that expensive to make, really. They're not. None of this stuff is really all that expensive to make once you get your basic resources set up. So yeah, this stuff, I think this is a really good solution. So let me just go over it one more time real quick. So the magma crucible generates lava from our netherrack. The lava gets ported out here, and now this branch powers our magmatic dynamos, which produce power, which then goes through the flux duct here back into the dynamo, and that's solely to keep this guy powered up. That's the only purpose of what these guys do here, is just to keep him powered up. And basically you need 5. You need 5 dynamos to keep this thing powered up and going all the time. And what I did is I added 2 extra just to make sure that I had enough overflow power in order to keep this completely full. Because with 5 dynamos, you're going to get a little bit of fluctuation here. Not enough to really be a problem, but you will get a little bit of fluctuation. But with the 7 dynamos, this thing just stays pegged at 60,000 and doesn't move. And the excess, because we're using our fuel efficient, because we have the efficient fuel augmentation, and because this thing only generates, will lose power. In other words, it only uses lava when it has to actually output power. The excess lava, which we get, will go down this branch here, and that just flows into our geothermal generators, which just automatically produce the EU. And then, of course, you know, you've got I've got insulated tin cable, because these are low voltage systems, so we could get away with using the tin. We basically just have the insulated tin. It just comes out of the bottom and just goes into the rest of these guys. And you know, I've got this stuff covered up here just for looks, because it doesn't need to be exposed. This is my diamond system you saw in the last episode. But there you have it, guys. That's sort of the power system, and it works really well. So if you're needing a good power system to run both EU and RF, consider using it. It's not the only solution, but it's definitely a good solution, and one that I've been real pleased with, and seems to be working really well for me. So that's it, guys. I appreciate it, and I will talk to you again next time. Bye-bye now.